Ann Cornick from Paint and Porcelain. I'm here to help beginners learn how to China paint, and I'm also here to encourage those of you that have been painting to come along and paint with us and help us out with any questions that come up. And we're going to be finishing up our barn. This is the barn. Oops, let me hold it the right direction there. And this is how mine turned out. This is how my first fire turned out. Now, you can tell from the first fire that we still have a long way to go. I'm not going to darken the things that are already dark enough. I'm only darkening where I want the shadows and the punch. I'm also going to take on this side, bring this across so that it fills it in, and we'll put in some sky. You will need either a very, very skinny, what I call my mini pointer, a liner, or a good liner, or a pen. Colors we're going to be using. I've got a lot of colors here. It's entirely up to you what you want to use. But for my leaves, I'm going to be using the red grape, my form of orange, which is South Brown, my red, which is carnation, the yellow is lemon, but you don't have to use these colors as long as they're close. And then for everything else, we're going to be using, there's black, there's brown. I have a moss green in here. I have autumn green, which is kind of like, it's not exactly a brown green. You see how pretty that is? But if you have brown green, you could use that too. And then like a blue for the sky. That's all you need. So you just decide what colors you want to have on this plate. They can be any of the colors that you like. They don't have to be my colors, okay? We're going to start with the background, and then we'll go to the leaves because we don't want to mess them up. We may even come down to the barn and then go to the leaves. I'm not going to do this side. I need a place to rest my hand. I'm going to do this side first. So anyway, follow me and we'll see how this goes. To start the sky with, I'm going to use a fairly large brush. This is a 1/2 inch. And I'm just going to load it with baby blue. So I'm just going to start and I'm going to add the baby blue now. I'm going to add the baby blue all the way down to here because that's where the horizon is on here. Okay, clean my brush. It looked like it still had some blue or some weird colors in it. I would say just go over your leaves, make sure it gets behind them, you know, go over the sky, and then start fluffing. This is fluffing. C strokes are fluffing. You want to get a nice sky. You want to get one that, and you can do straight strokes. You can do C strokes will give you cumulus clouds. Straight strokes will give you stratus clouds. See, I learned that in school. And go right to the edge of the plate. That's kind of what I liked about this plate. Even though it has a border, I thought the border added a lot to making it look kind of cool. And then over here, I think I need a little blue. This is just whatever you want to do. If you want to make it all blue on this side so that you know it's blue, and then maybe make your clouds here. When you get to the clouds, wipe your brush off and start pulling away from the white. And then just taper them off real gently. There you go. And if you want more clouds, get yourself an eraser. Or I'm sorry, this is a makeup sponge, and just add a few more clouds. But that's how I do it, and I don't put a lot of thought into it. I just sort of paint them. I think they come out better that way. This guy needs a little more fluffing. There we go. Okay, so those are my clouds. Now I'm cleaning my brush real well. I'm going to put a little bit of oil on it just because I don't want things to bleed. And I'm just going to go around and clean off my leaves where they have the color on them. Unless you want that color there, and you might, who knows, everybody's a little different, but there we go. So I got it off, and I want it off my barn too. There we go. Okay, so the sky is done. Nothing hard about that. So now we're going to start working on the barn, I think, because if I don't do the middle, then as I come out to, if I do the edges first, then I have my hands here and I get it all messed up, and I don't need that. So let's start with the barn. As you recall, if you were here last time, I'm using just a number 4 rounded brush. Oops, this side of the barn has a little bit of sky on it. And I don't want that because actually that there is going to become more of my my siding on the barn. So let's get this. I used red grape on this side of the barn because it's darker than the other side with the red. And I thought it turned out really well. So all I'm doing now is just deepening it. And I'm adding a little black to it up in here. You don't have to, but I think it'll just give it a better look. Don't worry if you go over the white areas. It's perfectly fine. You're just going to pull up. Follow those boards a little bit, and up near the top, you're going to put a little black in your white grape and come down. Let me get this here. I have to turn it, sorry. You're going to put black in your grape and come down. Still not cooperating. I think I probably need oil. Come right down here. There we go. And I see a spot that I missed. I'm not going to do much. I'm just going to take a little bit of the color and just pull it down. There we go. All right. Then I'm going to clean my brush real well. Add a little oil and just clean up my edges. Clean up this side a little bit. Good. And then I'm going to clean around here. I guess I need to do that with an eraser. Where's my eraser? Right here. Okay. So I'm going to use my eraser right here. Wipe it off. Go back and make more changes. When it gets gunky, wipe it off. This is way off in the distance, so if you have an issue with it, don't worry about it. You know, nobody's really going to see it when we get all done. Okay. Now for the sky back here, for the roof, I used my mini liner with some ink, and I put it on. Now, I don't know that we need to use the ink with it today. I just had ink on my table at the time, but I'm going to go over these little guys again. Now, I want to line this here, here. I want to line it on this side too. Go up and down. Make sure I fill in the black in the window if it's not filled in all the way. Now, the barn is straight and then an angle. So you go up straight and then you go on an angle. And you can cover some of that red if you have some red that got away from you. The bottom of this is straight. The bottom of this is straight. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the outside. So I need a little more oil. So I'm going to get my pen. I'm going to take my black. Let me show you what I'm going to do. This is the cheater's way of doing ink. If you're good at ink, if you know what the consistency feels like of ink, you can do it this way. You just put a little on your palette. You take whatever you're using for your current oil, dip it in, and use probably only one side of it. Wipe off the other side because you probably don't need more than that. And see? It's going to drip. Come on, it's going to drip. Trust me, it's going to drip. It's right there. See, I mean, it's drippy. You can see. Okay. And then I'm going to scoop it up and test it to make sure it's not, see, and it's not overly gooky. So that's perfect. So you can do that anytime that you get in a pinch. If you don't have regular fancy oil, you can use this oil and it will work great. Let me let me clean up some of these things here that I've got messed up. Okay, and I'm going to make this cloud a little more fuzzy. There. See my cloud? Made it a little fuzzier there, and it doesn't look bad at all. Okay, and now I'm going to do it with the with the pen, and this will work so much better. Oops, come here. And then on this side, I'm going to just do it under. Now I'm going to do a little around the windows. Might as well, I'm right here, right? I'm going to square off these windows. And I will square off the windows down here too. And do it here too. You're going to have to keep loading because this doesn't flow quite as well as pen oil. And if you need to make your windows taller, you can do that. So you can do all that at this time. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line across the top here so that I have a line across the top of my barn. Remember, if it's not a straight line, it doesn't really matter because barns get old. And I'm going to do one down here. And I'm going to do one right here. Oops, need a little more. And see, that's all with regular ink. And then I'm going to go back to that little brush I had, and I'm going to do the red down in the bottom of the barn. I've got my carnation. And I'm just going to put my red here. Can you see okay? I think you can. And a little here, little here, little here, little there, little there. Okay. That's the red part of the barn. So you can tell the dark from the light. And again, I'm going to take and just outline these corners. Oh, I should have done that on the other side too. No, the corner didn't show. Okay. And then here we have these guys coming down. Oh. Ah, nuts. My black has not puddled correctly, so I need to puddle it. So I pulled it together so that there's more of it in one spot and I can get it more easily on my pen. I'm holding my pen wrong there. There we go. Always hold it at I think it's like a 45 degree. And then I'm going to do my windows real quick here. I think the pen is the best to do this with. You can decide when you're doing yours and see. I think I need a little more black right there. And a little hint of a window back there. Okay. So that's my barn. So I'm going to clean my pen. Always clean your pen and let it dry though before you use it again, because if you use it right afterwards, you may still have some of that in your pen. You may still have some of the cleaner that you used in your pen. So always just let it dry. Alrighty, now we're going to take this small little guy, and now we do have pen oil. And we're just going to do little dashes across the top. Those are going to be our little tiles on the roof. Give a little break in between. You've got that gray underneath, and that's why it's there, is to give you more of a, you know, a kind of a patchworky look to it. See how I'm doing that there? I'm just doing little dashes. There, instant roof. Okay. Now I want to bolster up the greenery in the background a little bit here. So I'm taking my autumn color and I'm just touching it. Not all of it, just a little bit of it. Get that green. And now we're going down to the corn stalks. Now these are the stalks, the what do you call it? Silk. That's what those are. I'm using a yellow brown, and for the corn silk, I'm just doing like mini lines, like little lines all over. See, I'll turn it your way because there's nothing to it. You can do this. This is simple. This is way off in the distance on here. You can mix it with yellow if you want them to be a little lighter. There we go. These are the corn silks, the little silks. No problem. And then I just go all the way across. Think of this, have you ever seen those paintings where people do, like, they do circles in one spot and they do lines in another, and then they pull it all together and it looks like a really pretty painting? Well, that's kind of what we're doing here. We did dashes up there. Now we're going to do our little, almost like little dots down here, but I'm using my micro liner, the little teeny tiny itty bitty. These are the corn stalks. Now watch this. This is fun. I'm going to do it this way. I don't know if you'll be able to see as well, but I'm just doing lines, okay? Look at that. Well, I can do it upside down too. Gosh, who can't do a line upside down? Okay, those are my corn stalks, and I'm doing them together with a darker green. This is the autumn green that I have. You can use any color green. It doesn't matter. I like this because you can almost lay it down and get exactly what you want. Now watch this. This is the cool part of it coming up. Okay. Okay, the cool part is you take your, where are you? You take your Paintnporcelain and you're going to take, and you're just going to go like this. You're going to make a diagonal. You know how they fold? You've seen them fold over the leaves in the field. You may even want to put your Paintnporcelain in the paint and do it. But that's what I'm doing. And I'm going different directions. I don't want to get up into my sky, but can you see how I'm doing that there? That's going to look a little more like corn. I'll do them all one direction first, and then I'll go back and do some the other direction. How's that? I'll put a couple here. Okay, can you see that? Oh, there. Woo! There we go. That's going to look a little bit more like corn from a distance than if we were to try to do it with do it exactly. Now, I can also take my lighter green and do it with my lighter green so that they're going back and forth like that. And sometimes that also helps a little. There we go. So that kind of looks like corn. Now, we're at the point where we need to continue over on this side of the plate. Oops. Here, let me, up this way, right? This side of the plate. But I'm not going to do that till the very end. Okay. Now, I'm going to take my liner, my regular liner. Okay, here, I'm taking my autumn, and I'm just, oh, here we go. I'm just doing this. Actually, it works better if you do it this way. This is the long grass in the front. Go over the leaf, because you can wipe it off the leaf. It won't matter. And if it gets too dark, like I have it too dark there, if you have one of those fan brushes, they're really handy to have. Where are they? Here, I had one. And I only have one. Ah, here. It's ugly, but it works. And you can do this, and that will also help. In fact, you can dip it a little bit, as long as you're careful not to dip it too much, because you want long grass here. Now remember, we're not doing anything super fancy. The focus on this is really the leaves. And now we're going to go into, if you have the fan brush, you can continue with that down here. We're going to go into the longer grass, like the hay and stuff down here. And I like to mix it up between the yellow and the brown. But look at this. You have to keep it all going one direction. It blows for, you can't have it going a million directions unless it's all going the same direction, in which case it might be because of the wind or something. And you build from the bottom up, that way each layer will be where it's supposed to be. This layer is supposed to cover that layer. This layer is supposed to cover that layer. And that's why I'm doing it like this. Easy. Which of you cannot do this? I can't believe you can't do this. And if you don't have a brush, like I do here, hang on, I want to get this up in here a little more. Then take your liner and just use your liner. Now, it takes a lot longer, but you do get some of those longer, look here. Do you see those? I'm getting more hay-like look down there. So let me put a little more of the brown up in here. You can even add a little bit darker brown as you get to the front, because of course the front has more definition than the back does, because it's closer to you. And then you can just, the best thing to do with this is flip it upside down like I'm doing right now, and just flick, 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 just like this. And take maybe a light color and just do it. And it will pull the paint around and make it look more like a straw. Do it heavily. Look how I'm pushing my brush down. Do it heavily, okay? Oh, can you see? There. Okay. And that's my grand. Now, we're going to start on the leaves. I'm going to use my bigger brush. I'm going to clean these other brushes a little, otherwise I'll forget that I used them. There we go. Okay. I'm going to use my number 10 because, of course, my number 10 is my favorite brush in the whole world. This is my number 10. This is what it looks like. It wasn't originally mine, but the person I got it from took such good care of it that I use it all the time now. I'm only going to paint where I want the color on here. I'm not going to paint everything, okay? So in this case, I'm going to take, and this is actually the grape, the red grape. And you know how I paint. I paint like this. I start and I follow the outline of the leaf. But I kind of pull from the middle a little bit, because that then will give me the impetus to pull color back into the leaf. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to switch to green up in here. You can mix your green right in with your other colors. Oops, not that much. If you want, let me get this green out of there. That happens to you all the time too, I bet, right? I hate when that happens. And then in the middle of this, I kind of had a yellow, and you notice now the yellow doesn't look like much at all. I'm going to come way up here and just add the yellow in. I'm adding yellow in. I'm just plunking it in. Now I'm taking my brush. I'm on the very, you can't see, can you? I'm on the very edge of it. So this is my brush. I'm on the very tip of it. If you put your hand out and you brush as lightly as you can, holding the brush at the very end, that's the kind of feel you want on this. So I'm just pulling the color, the yellow out into the other color Okay, and then on this side, I'm doing the same thing with the greens and the yellows. Then down the middle, I'm just gonna kind of etch. I'm just loading the very tip of my brush, and I'm just putting in my veins. I think it needs another one here, and I think it could use a better one there. Okay, that's that leaf done. This one here. Oh, this one here, you can't see it, sorry. That one's the one I just finished. And I'm doing what I always do, I'm just following the edge. I think I cleaned it, but I don't think I put oil on it. Here we go. Look, side loading, and I'm just following the edge. Yeah, I had chirp on it. Can you still see it? Yep. And then I'm mixing right in with my orange, and I'm coming up with my orange here. I kind of pull it from the center out because that's sort of the way the color is on these leaves. If you've ever seen fall leaves, and I'm sure most people have, I can't believe you haven't, but if you haven't, then that gives you an idea. Now, I'm just going to brush very lightly back into the middle. Oops, that was bad. Got orange in my sky. Okay, take care of that. Get more oil on my brush. And the veins on this are green, so I'm just going to kind of reinforce those a little bit. I'm just tapping or brushing. It just depends what I do. I do all kinds of stuff. And if it's a little too harsh, like it is right here, I'll just take my eraser and pounce it a little bit, and I don't want it quite that harsh. There we go. This guy is red grape again. Oh, shoot, did it again. I keep forgetting to put it in my oil. Okay, so when it's red grape, you're going to come in, when it's behind the other thing, you're going to come in and do the color behind first. And I'm holding way back on my brush. It just seems to give you a little less control on your brush, but it gives you a really fine color finish. Does that make any sense? I just think the color goes on not too dark that way, and I like it. And I'm just trying to tap it in up here. I don't really want it much darker than that up there. But here I want to pull it out. There we go. And then down here, I've got it behind. So I'm going to put a little like that there and then pull it up and pull it right to the edge of the leaf. And I'm in my sky. And I'm in my sky right here too. Luckily that's a cloud, so it won't matter. And then I don't know that these guys need much more. Now I'm going to look at it, and it looks a little grainy to me, like choppy. So I'm just pulling the colors back towards the center to make them not quite so choppy. Now this is really yellow. Okay, I'm going to put yellow on here. The yellow I don't worry about going around the edges so much because yellow is yellow. It's pretty bright. If I go around the edges, I usually add a little bit of orange to it or red or something just to give it a little punch. There's a little orange. Pull that down there. And over here, I'm just going to give it a little punch. Alrighty. And I don't know that it needs much more than that. I'm going to just, oh, too dark. There we go. There, 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 there. Oh. Now I'm going to put red over this because I didn't get a lot of, I had a little trouble with the color from the red grape down here, and there we go. There we go. I'm just going to let it come up and be over that. I think it might just make it easier. And then I'm going to do it on this side with the red grape too. I don't like that half and half look. I do on some of them, but this one looks kind of silly that way. It's kind of an odd leaf. I was trying to add some variety, and so I picked a leaf that wasn't really, you know, it was a little malformed, and it's thrown me quite a bit on this. Okay, and we're just going to put the green in the middle here. Not everywhere, just a little bit here in the middle. I can let that go right off the plate practically, like that. And I'm just feathering it up, feathering it over, feathering it around. Got the color. I'm going to take the darker green and I'm just going to go. There we go. Okay, so that's my leaves done. Now the last thing is this little bit over here. Nothing to it, of course. You need to carry some of the green stalks over. So now I'm going to take yellow and put it over here first because I don't have the yellow there even to, oh, that should be green, sorry. I'm carrying over the green of this here. So this should be green. And you just lump it in there. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, okay? And then the next color will be the yellow. Where's my little guy? Here he is. And this guy I'm going to do little dots. Clean him out. This is the easiest and quickest part of the whole thing. I'm going to use some yellow, brown. Can you see when I'm down here? Yeah, you can. And I'm going to just dot it over like this. Then the next one is our corn. I think this corn I even wanted a little more exaggerated. That's better. So I'm going to take my green and I'm just going to make my lines back here. Okay. And then I'm going to take my fan brush, clean it, oil it. This might be a little much. These are supposed to be kind of off to the side, so let's okay. It's a little heavy. Let me try it again. Okay, that's good. Alrighty. And then we're going to do the yellow down in here. Make sure you go up over the green above because remember this yellow is in the foreground. Try to take it all the way over to the leaf. Add a little brown down there near the base. And add a little yellow brown up in here. What haven't I done? I'll tell you what I haven't done. Oh, these guys here need a little choop, 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 choop. They don't look like much. Let me put a little more dark green in there. Okay. I forgot to sign my name. So I still have some oil left. I'm just going to scoop it up, and I'm going to sign my name at the bottom. Oh, come on, baby. Work. Yeah, it works. It just doesn't want to cooperate for me. Almost. Okay, this is the final product. And I think it looks pretty cool. And like I said, you can put anything you want in it. I mean, you could put your, like, you know, a family house, barn, dog, cat, with the frame around it of leaves. It would be gorgeous. Pick up those brushes, keep painting, and I will see you next time. I hope you enjoyed the program, and I hope you'll take a minute to subscribe so that other people can learn more about China painting and we can get the word out to more people. You also can look at the links below. My paintnporcelain.com website has a lot of freebies and printables for new and experienced painters, as well as studies, supplies, and even some of my hand-painted china. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time.